You shake my nerves and you rattle my brain. Too much love drives a man insane. You broke my will, what a thrill. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. I left at love cause I thought it was funny. You came along and I moved me, honey. I've changed my mind, this love is fine. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Kiss me, baby. Ooh, feels good. Hold me, baby. I want to love you like a lover should. You're fine, so kind. Got to tell this world that you're mine, 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 mine. I chew my nails and I twiddle my thumbs. I'm real nervous, but it sure is fun. Come on, baby, you drive me crazy. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Hello folks, in this tutorial I'm going to teach how I play Jerry Lee Lewis's song Great Balls of Fire. This was his follow-up to his hit record A Whole Lot of Shakin' Going On, both released in 1957. Jerry Lee played the song on the piano, of course, in the key of C, but that's a little bit too high for my singing range, so I've transposed it down to the key of A. The song has the following structure. There's a beginning verse which has stops in it, then there's a second verse followed by a bridge, then there's a third verse followed by a solo, then we go into the bridge again, and then the third verse is repeated, and that's the end of the song. The song starts off with this distinctive run. That's the open 6th string, an E, 2nd fret of the 6th string, I play that with my 1st finger, 4th fret of the 6th string with my 3rd finger, the open 5th string, that's an A, and to give that A a little more oomph, I add a note on the 2nd fret of the 4th string with my 1st finger, the bottom of an A chord. All together that's. Then you rest for 6 beats and play that run again, but this time, instead of going from the E to the A string, you go from the A to the D, like this. Then you rest for 6 beats again, and then play this chromatic run, going up in semitones. That's the 4th fret of the 5th string, play that with my 3rd finger, the open 4th string, 1st fret of the 4th string with my 1st finger, 2nd fret of the 4th string. And to give that note a little more oomph, I add a note on the 4th fret of the 3rd string with my 3rd finger. That's an E power chord. So all together. Then you rest for 2 beats and play this. That's 3 of those E power chords. Then the bottom of a D chord. So that's the open D string, 2nd fret of the 3rd string. You rest for 2 beats again, and then you have the run that we started off with. Then you rest for 6 beats, and then play a quick up-down up strum, either on the A or the E. And then you're into the 2nd verse. So all together that's 1 and 2 and 3, and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3, and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3, and 2 and 3, and 2 and 3, and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3, and then you're into the 2nd verse. This is a rock and roll song that's not based on a 12-bar blues chord progression, but like the 12-bar blues, it is based on 3 basic chords, what are sometimes called the 1, 4 and 5 chords. In the key of A, those chords are A, that's the 1 chord, D, that's the 4 chord, and E, that's the 5 chord. The chord progression in the verses goes like this. We have 2 bars of A, 2 bars of D, 1 bar of E, 1 bar of D, and a stop on the A, the 2 bars, and a quick up, down, up on the A7, leading us into the bridge, which starts on a D. You could play the verses like that with simple open chords and a trained strum like this. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hitting the strings a little bit harder on beats 2 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The back beat. I laughed at love cause I thought it was funny. You came along and moved me, honey. I've changed my mind. This love is fine. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Or you could play it using the rock and roll riffs that I describe in my tutorial number 1, like this. I laughed at love cause I thought it was funny. You came along and moved me, honey. I've changed my mind. This love is fine. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Or you could play it using the Chuck Berry style riffs that I describe in my tutorial number 2, like this. I laughed at love cause I thought it was funny. You came along and moved me, honey. I've changed my mind. This love is fine. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Kiss me, baby. And then we go into the bridge. The chord progression in the bridges goes like this. There are 2 bars of D, followed by 2 bars of A, then back to the D for 2 bars, then we stop on the E. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's have a look at those stops on the E a little bit more closely, shall we? We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, up, down, 2, 3, up, down, 2, 3, up, down, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so those last strums fall on the ands in between the beats. And if you're strumming up and down like I was, they are up strums. Sometimes, instead of a plain E chord, there I play an E7 shape like this. So that's a C7, where the root of the chord is on the 5th string there. That's a C. If we move that root up to the 7th fret, that becomes an E7. So let's hear that bridge with the lyrics. Kiss me, baby. Ooh, feels good. Hold me, baby. I want to love you like a lover should. You're fine, so kind. Got to tell this world that you're mine, 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 mine. I do my nails and I twiddle my thumbs. And then we're into the following verse. The solo on Jerry Lee Lewis's record follows the same chord progression as the verses, but it's the equivalent of 2 verses in length and doesn't have any stops in it like the verses have. When I play this song with a band, I play this kind of 1 verse long solo. But without a band to back me up, it sounds a little bit thin, a little bit empty, and it would take a whole tutorial in itself to explain what I'm doing there, I think. When I'm playing the song by myself on acoustic guitar, I play a rhythm solo like this. It sounds quite full, doesn't it? You don't necessarily need a band to back you up. What I'm doing is playing a bit of an A chord up here. I've got my 3rd finger on the 7th fret of the 4th string, my 2nd finger on the 6th fret of the 3rd string, and my 1st finger on the 5th fret of the 2nd string. I'm also playing an open 5th string, that's an A, and an open 1st string, that's an E. I strum that chord in a rhythmic way, moving the chord shape down 1 fret and sliding it up again, and I do that 3 times like this. Here's that strumming pattern slowly. Up, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, And then I do something quite similar on the D chord, but I start off with the D chord shape already down 1 fret. Down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. And then we move over to the E, play an E chord shape, and this rock and roll chord riff. So that's an open E. I drop my 3rd finger down onto the 2nd fret of the 2nd, 3rd and 4th strings, making a bit of an A chord there. Then I lift my fingers off completely, and then I drop them back down into the E chord shape. Altogether that's. Then I play a rock and roll riff on the D chord. Then I play a kind of rock and roll riff up here on the 5th fret, like this. So that's like an F chord shape moved up to the 5th fret. I've got my 1st finger on the 5th fret of the 1st and 2nd strings, my 2nd finger on the 6th fret of the 3rd string, and my 3rd finger on the 7th fret of the 4th string. And I'm also playing the open 5th string. I'm dropping my little finger down onto the 7th fret of the 2nd string like this. On beats 2 and 4 in the bar. Then I finish off by playing a rhythmic fill on the A7 chord like this. Down, down, up, down, up, down, up. As I said earlier, the last part of the song is a repeat of the 3rd verse, with the final stop like this. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire! With 4 strums on an A chord. You could play them like that, as up, down, or all down strums like this. Sometimes, instead of a plain A, I like to play an A6, like that. You can view or download a song sheet with all the lyrics and chords for this song in it from my songbook blog, and I've put a link in the video's description. So finally, here's my full version of this song with a count in so you can join in. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. You shake my nerves and you rattle my brain. Too much love drives a man insane. You broke my will, but what a thrill. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. I laughed at love cause I thought it was funny. You came along and it moved me, honey. I've changed my mind, this love is fine. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Kiss me, baby. Ooh, feels good. Call me, baby. I want to love you like a lover should. You're fine, so kind. Got to tell this world that you're mine, 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 mine. I chew my nails and I twiddle my thumbs. I'm real nervous, but it sure is fun. Come on, baby, you drive me crazy. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. I want to love you like a lover should. You're fine, so kind. Got to tell this world that you're mine, 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 mine. I chew my nails and I twiddle my thumbs. I'm real nervous, but it sure is fun. Come on, baby, drive me crazy. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Thanks for watching, folks. I hope you found that useful. If you have any queries, let me know in the comments.